Welcome to the Cashman Wellness Show. Even Fred Astaire showed up today. Hey, you know, he wanted to watch this show. I've been tap dancing with his YouTube shows. Hello. This really is my most important passion, really is, because in this country, in this area, is across the world, type 2 diabetes is a pandemic. India has the largest number. Next is China. Next, we have the highest percentage. Probably 80 to 90% of the people in the United States have type 2 diabetes. Yes, that high. And I'll explain it to you. And part of the reason is we've been running the wrong test. We get blood sugars. Once it's elevated, then we say pre-diabetes. Oh, now you have diabetes. There's no such thing as pre-diabetes. We need to run. Let me listen very carefully. Listen very carefully and write it down. You can look at my other TV shows. It's clearly explained there. You need, when you go to your doctor, you don't just ask for your blood sugar or your HbA1c. That's 3 months worth of blood sugar. You need to ask for a serum insulin. Insulin puts the sugar in the cell. Your insulin levels are elevated 10 to 15 years before your blood sugar is up. Yes. And while your insulin is up, changes are occurring in your body, but you may not feel the majority of them because it's the beginning of chronic disease. But I warn you, 50% of the people who have a heart attack grab their chest and they die. No warning, no angina, no nothing. And you are proud of that happens to you or a family member. You were part of an elevated insulin group. And the way they discovered that is that in the Korean, Vietnam War, they autopsied the soldiers that died of no disease, who were shot or whatever. They autopsied them, and they found that the Korean and Vietnamese bodies, no chronic disease in them, but the American soldiers were full of heart disease and kidney disease, other types of cancers. And why was that? Because they were really sick, but they had no symptoms. Get a serum insulin level. Starting what age? Do it on little children, age 2 or 3. A Joseph Kraft, K-R-A-F-T, studied the science of it, University of Illinois, many years ago, and you can still catch him on YouTube, although he's not alive, okay? He was a pathologist. He looked at the bottom line, ran studies, and wrote a book that is, which I don't understand, is no longer published, but you can get a PDF or get a used one. Please read that book. Take it one night to read it. But he studied the different insulin levels and a good explanation of it. He looked at the bottom line, but you can see his YouTube show is still there, although he's not alive. I'm certain he's looking up from the heavens down on us while I'm giving this talk. Matter of fact, he says on that YouTube shows, I'll be looking down upon you for many decades or centuries before we finally change your mind and start running the proper tests. It's true, because industry has captured us. They've been so bribed by the pharmaceutical and sugar companies that they will not change. I know, I'm up against it all the time. But fortunately, because of this wonderful library, Andrew Carnegie, I've been doing TV shows here 13, 14 years, and they go to YouTube, and you can go to YouTube, Rudy Cashman, And there'll be on there about 700 to 1,000 TV shows on health. Diabetes will be half of it, so it's that important. And I'm praying that the library here may take their empty Maker Lab. The Maker Lab moves to the front of the library, but in the middle are some glass windows in a beautiful room, and I hope to turn this into a health prevention and reversal center. And I'm meeting with the head of the library next week, in 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago from yesterday at 2:30 on a Wednesday, and I hope you pray that they would agree to that. And because we can teach children, adults, and the library good health, maybe get doctors to wake up and send their patients there. It's easy to do now with displays and touch technology and movies, and we can blow this information across the world. It's going that way now. This show here will be converted to YouTube in 10 days. In India, we'll take this information, translate it into other dialects, because they have so many diabetics that they translate into other languages to learn this information. This is true. They send some of their people to my house to talk to me about it. They didn't need to ask permission. They think I'm upset they use my YouTube shows. I just go like that. So let's talk about diabetes a little bit here. We have type 1, which is maybe 10% of the diabetics, where you make no insulin, and these patients do need to take insulin. Okay. But if they follow a proper lifestyle, they need very little insulin. Remember, I said insulin has a lot of side effects, okay? But they need it. But if they eat right, they probably live to be 100. I know one that did it. But if they eat the wrong food and they have to take a lot of insulin, they get the side effects of insulin. Insulin makes you fat, and things get worse. They need to take more. Now they need to take 100 units instead of 10 units if they eat right. So type 1 is where you need insulin. And what causes type 1? They call it an autoimmune disease, but there are certain things that cause it. For example, an autoimmune reaction can occur from being allergic to milk. Milk is one of the causes of type 1 diabetes, yes. And the other causes, for example, the celiac disease or gluten in plants, they can do it too. And the other autoimmune reaction where your pancreas goes dead and you got to take some insulin. But the rest, about 90% of the people have type 2 diabetes. And the reason I don't want you to have it is because the insulin is not good for you. And it's going into more detail. Insulin takes the sugar and drives it into your cell, and now your cell has the sugar. You either use it up or it goes to the liver, or it's converted to fat. So the majority of patients who have type 2 diabetes, with also their blood sugars are up. When you inject the insulin, they've been discovered by the pharmaceutical companies, and you notice as where they inject themselves, a bump develops. Well, that is fat. And one of the causes of having diabetes is too much fat in the liver and in the pancreas. So if you're taking in insulin to make yourself fat, eventually the pancreas will be full of fat, and the liver will be full of fat, and you may even still be thin, but there's fat in the liver, there's fat in the pancreas, and it doesn't work. You need to take more insulin, more side effects, increased rates of dementia, liver disease, kidney disease. So insulin helps cause diseases. That's the reason I want you to prevent it. Okay, prevention is really the most important thing. So why don't we want to have diabetes? Because it causes dementia, Alzheimer's disease. They even call it type 3 diabetes. Okay, it's a huge thing, and they don't emphasize that enough. Alzheimer's disease is genetic, maybe 10, 20%. The rest is due to having pre-diabetes. Having diabetes, you can get rid of it quickly, and I'll discuss that in some detail with you. Causes dementia, loss of teeth. Eating the wrong food grows bacteria in your teeth. So eating the right food is important there. Wes Yamwer wrote a book in the 1930s. He traveled countries all over the world and just had people show him their teeth, and he could tell what diseases they had just by looking at their teeth. So brushing your teeth, while I'm at it, very important. Start at a very young age, even when you have a temporary tooth, one tooth. Teach your child to brush their teeth and watch them do it. And you can go online and learn more about it. But I myself lost a few teeth. I didn't know about it. I didn't know to brush my teeth till I was in college. Yes. Fraternity brother came up and says, Rudy, sorry to girls are coming over the day, would you brush your teeth? My parents didn't tell me. So learn to brush your teeth. Read the Wes Youngberg book. You can get in the library, order it online. And very important. Heart disease, lung disease, liver disease, kidney disease, high blood pressure, skin diseases, many types of cancer, amputations, dislocations. I could go on, all caused by diabetes, but diabetes is largely preventable, especially type 2. Type 1, too. Remember, we talked about milk and the glutens and the celiac disease. So when I teach people, first of all, I like to prevent it, but a lot of the patients, people that I see today, remember, they already got it, okay? 80% of the overweight people have type 2 diabetes. They may say, oh, my blood sugar is normal, I don't have diabetes. Unless you can show me that your insulin is normal, that means nothing to me. Yes, get a serum insulin, okay? 30% of the thin people are diabetic. Yes, they have fat in their liver, fat in their pancreas, and the pancreas isn't working right. So you can be thin, be diabetic, so you're thin, your blood sugar is normal. I'm not diabetic, means nothing to me. I want your serum insulin. A few other tests are helpful. Triglyceride HDL ratio is a good one. Get a kidney test, GFR, because many people have silent kidney disease. It's silent till they're on the path to dialysis, and their GFR is 35 or 25, and now they need to be dialyzed. So you need to know while your GFR is silent that you know what it is, so you can catch it on the path and prevent the disease. I found out now, actually, no one said you can't reverse your GFR. You can. I found that out from a Dr. Unwin, U-N-W-I-N, in England. Great website to look at, incidentally. Public Health Collaboration, UK.org. I just told you a secret that's worth a few $1 million. Unending YouTube shows, TV shows to watch on how to prevent diseases. Yeah. David Unwin and his wife, I have their book here too, Fork in the Road, A Hopeful Guide to Food Freedom. I want you to go on Amazon and buy it. Incidentally, if you go on Amazon books, you can buy books a lot of times used. Yes. A good example would be this one, which I'm going to talk about now a little bit. Beyond Simply Keto by Susan Rines. Yeah, I want in terms of prevention and reversal, both fantastic book. If you don't want to do a lot of other YouTube shows to look at or books to read, like Dr. Unwin's book, fantastic book, fantastic YouTube shows. Look at Susan Ryan. And I found out that this book, you know, is $35, but I found out if you go to Amazon Books, $5 or less, used copies, they look like they're brand new. I was giving a talk to about 20 people from a church recently. They were all diabetic. I was giving them a talk, and I looked it up. I saw a used book, I think $4 or $5. I bought 20 times 4, and I give a talk from her book, which I'll show you in a second. I was walking through the downtown Fort Wayne recently, and a lady walks up to me, says, "Oh, thank you, Dr. Cashman." I was at the lecture at the church. Says, "You gave me this free book. Me and my husband lost 30 pounds, and our diabetes went away." And it happens quickly, quickly. And so she wrote this book, first 60 pages, Susan, Simply Keto. She describes what keto is all about. And then the rest of it, you know what she's done? That's the reason I consider this so wonderful, is that she has pictures of the recipes. Yes. And she has breakfasts, lunch, and dinner. And every one, she will tell you how many calories, how much fat, how much protein, how much carbs. Yes. And then how to make the recipe, how many servings. If you have other family members, you need to cook for 3. She'll say only for 3 or 6. Wonderful food. To eat right doesn't mean that you have to eat lousy food. This is delicious food. Here's your egg salad wraps, for example. I mean, and you eat this way, there's lots of food. You'll feel good. And she is in the 3 meals a day, and you'll be happy. She lost 120 pounds. This lady used to be obese, so her husband. And the pictures of them in there, you can look at the pictures. And then she has a list of foods that are good for you. Here's another one. Arugula, avocado, and asparagus salad with poached eggs. Just look at this. Just look at this. She tells you the recipe, the servings, the amount of calories, the amount of the good fats, the bad fats, the cooking time. I mean, it's unbelievable. This is the answer to preventing, reversing diabetes. Now, she has 3 meals a day, and you can do this. I've had many patients do it. It's scientifically proven. You can buy the book for $4 or $5. I'd like you to own the book. That way you can keep it at home. It's in your kitchen. You can read it. Your husband can read it. Now, she says 3 meals a day. I myself, 134 pounds this morning, okay, 88 years old, no disease, no pills, nothing. Played pickleball this morning. I didn't say to play pickleball, did I? Tap dance, that's why Fred Astaire is here today. I dance with him on YouTube. And if you were to switch to 2 meals a day, because I've done shows, you can watch them on YouTube in about a week, I did a little while ago, on fasting and autophagia. Autophagia, how you need to learn something about that. If you do that and fasting, eat 16 hours, I don't eat 8 hours, I eat 2 meals. I take one of her meals here. I might take a breakfast meal or lunch meal. And you don't have to be exactly. I'm not exactly. I have a dessert here and there. I had tiramisu the other day. At Biaggi's, man, was that delicious. But I still weigh, the next morning, I still weigh 134 pounds. Played pickleball this morning, ate 2 meals a day. So that is autophagia, where your cells get cleaned out by your body. And you eat at around noon or 11, but to be honest with you, because of the fun I had playing pickleball and the laughter and the exercise, I wasn't even hungry at noon, okay? So type 2 diabetes is a plague across the world. The medical establishment, the hospitals, yes, and I'm sorry to say, even we doctors fell for the whole thing. We see a diabetic and we say, well, here's your metformin. Well, metformin has side effects. Look it up on the YouTube. Don't just take my word. Look things up. Don't stop the medication. Read about it. Talk to your doctor. Show your doctor. See what they say, but they can be close-minded. I find doctors be close-minded about statin drugs, about metformin, because they do not know, and they've been prescribing it for 40 years, and they're not about to change your mind. So you need to participate in your healthcare. Read books. Look at YouTube. Look at recipe books. Make up your own mind. I didn't say what to do. I'm just giving you general advice. But insulin has many side effects. So does metformin. People think metformin is 100% safe. It's safer, but if you read all the side effects that metformin has, including it can affect your mitochondria, yeah, learn about it, and then make up your own mind. But the healthiest and quickest way to get off all medication, I didn't say stop it without checking with your doctor or reading more about it. Make up your own mind, but it can happen quickly. And if you were to go 2 meals a day, breakfast and lunch, your diabetes will be gone probably within a few weeks. Your blood sugars will drop quickly. You've got to have a monitor. I highly recommend, if you are diabetic, to have one of these Dexcom 6 or Liberty something. There's some others that you have on your arm that all times you don't feel right. Check your blood sugar. I think that's a very good one. I would say that's almost mandatory. Have that, but you won't need it long. You won't need it long because your diabetes will go away quickly. And if you have been taking medication for 20, 30 years, Dr. Unwin found that although you may even be thin, but you still got diabetes, that if you eat right, the fat will leave your liver, the fat will leave your pancreas, and the pancreas can wake up. Not in every case, but in 90% of the cases. Isn't that interesting? So things are not as hopeless as they are. But when you look at the community, when you look at the hospitals, now another hospital system is moving into town, and they know better. They had a lady, Sarah Hallberg, working for them, who eventually moved to California. You can see her on TED Talk. You could have grabbed her information, but they did not do that. They know. Now they're moving into town, and believe me, their main purpose will not be prevention, but mine is, and I was glad to find out that the Bowen Center, BOWN, they're in town. There are many facilities now. They're in other cities in South Bend, and I think there's one in Ohio. And I'm going to meet with them within a week or so. And I went inside just to sit there and watch them operate. They teach people on how to prevent disease. And I'm going to see if they will step up to bat with me, and that we can take diabetes and prevent it, and reverse it if we have to. I can do it very simply through these books, but I also can connect to the British Health Collaboration, UK.org. The world will explode in explanatory DVDs, and Dr. Ben Bikman is on there. Listen to Ben Bikman's 1-hour talk at one of the old conferences. That was I think it was a year ago that he did at the British, when they had a health conference. He gave a 1-hour talk. Watch that. He doesn't call it metabolic syndrome. He calls it insulin syndrome, which is is the leader, and we can prevent them. Other good books to read. Very knowledgeable. A lot of YouTube shows. Jason Fung, F-U-N-G, the Diabetes Code. He also has Obesity Code. He has a Cancer Code. He is an honest, knowledgeable individual. I highly encourage you to read his book. If you got diabetes, read that. If you get cancer, read that. If you're overweight, read that. He also look at his YouTube shows. Also, Susan Ryan, Simply Keto, has a tremendous number of YouTube shows. They're free, for Pete's sake. Just Google Susan Ryan YouTube shows. The world explodes. And she looks, she has Keto Karma, K-A-R-M-A, where she talks about the psychology of eating. I mean, we all eat certain foods because they smell right or they look right, or if you were to put a donut in front of me, in spite of all this talk and all this information, I might just grab it because of stress. Stress is a big cause of us eating the wrong food. We like something quick to feel good, a glass of wine, a cigarette, none of the things which I use. To eating right. So in summary, prevention is the biggest goal, okay? Prevention is the biggest goal. But number two, if you got it, is reversal. If you look around, people, remember I said everybody's overweight is not diabetic, but the majority are. And if you're overweight and you get everything's normal, insulin, blood sugar, well, that's the way it is. But majority are not. And need to know your blood work, or if you're thin, remember, when you're thin, you can just have fat in your liver and your pancreas, and you're diabetic, and you're still diabetic. So it's very important that you get blood testing is the bottom line. But I want you to gather information, okay? And you can, and maybe get a library of these 3 books. You can buy them used. When you total it all up, maybe $10. If it saves your life and you live another 20 years healthy, not a bad idea. Okay, so Susan Ryan, Beyond Simply Keto, YouTube and books. Diabetes, Obesity, Cancer Code, Dr. Jason Fung, F-U-N-G. And if you want to gather a lot of information, I encourage you to look at their website, publichealthcollaborationuk.com. They have even an organization you can join, $100 a year, but they have a lot of free information. I want you to become familiar with them, because if you look at their resources, hit resources, the world explodes. There'll be enough informational YouTube shows there. You'll not live long enough to ever read them all. So in summary, I think you've learned a lot. We do this every 2 weeks or so. I have another show. This will go to YouTube. You can watch them there again. And then they go across the world. Am I in heaven? Yes, I'm in heaven. I'm floating because other countries are looking at them. But this town, 80–90% of the people are indeed diabetic, have tested correctly. And I need other people to join me, perhaps contribute to the library, where we like to take the old center in the middle as you walk in, convert it into totally diabetes or health prevention and reversal center, and then they have handouts to people. They can come there and get all this information for free. Andrew Carnegie created these libraries where everything is for free. And with that, Fred Astaire and I, we say goodbye, tap dance, and sing with me, or maybe play pickleball or whatever, or take a walk and sing to the birds. I'm doing this because I love you, care about you. Thank you.